Good morning, everyone. Am I audible to all of you? Okay, fine. So today, in the previous session, that is our lab session 2, in what we have completed experiment number 2. That experiment is based on the verification of Ohm's law. In that experiment, we have seen that what is Ohm's law. Okay, then how we can find the equivalent resistance in case of series and parallel, what will be the current, right? Also, we have performed the Ohm's law on the virtual lab, and then we have seen one practical video as well, right? Now today we will start our experiment number 3. Experiment number 3 is based on KVL and KCL. Verify Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law. So first of all, I want to know from your side that what do you know about KVL and KCL? So anyone?
So KVL means Kirchhoff's weighting voltage law. It was a law given by Kirchhoff, sir.
And what is the statement? Current leaving the node is equal to current entering to the node. Okay, Vishwajit, is it for KVL or KCL? KVL. The source voltage is equal to the sum of all voltage drops. Okay, that is for KVL. And current leaving the node is equal to the current entering into the node is for KCL. Very good. Okay, so I think all of you know about this, but those who don't know about KVL and KCL, for that student, we are going to start some of the theory portion, and then we will do the simulation also. Yes, so let us start with the experiment number 3. Aim of the experiment is to verify Kirchhoff's current law and Kirchhoff's voltage law in the electrical networks. So let us start with Kirchhoff's current law first. Kirchhoff's current law is the first law that is based on laws of conservation of the charge. Law of the conservation of the charge, which requires that the algebraic sum of charges within system cannot change. Algebraic sum of charges within system cannot change. It is now Current's law, Kirchhoff's current law or KCL is given by summation of IN. IN means it's a here the N is number of branches and IN is current passing through each branches. So it states that the algebraic sum of current entering a node, sum of current entering a node is 0, right? So where summation of n equal to 1 to n, In is equal to 0, where n is number of branches, connected to the node, and is the In is the nth current entering or leaving the node. So by this law, current entering into the current entering into the node may be regarded as positive, while currents leaving the node taken as negative, or vice versa. Means it is totally depending on you that you are taking the entering current is negative or positive, right? So in short, we can say in the network, the algebraic sum of current at particular node is equal to 0. Okay. Also, you have to remember that Kirchhoff's current law is based on law of conservation of charge. What do you mean by this? Law of conservation of charge. Okay, now let me take one example for you. See, this is one current here, which is one node. Okay, and some branches are connected like this. So let us take, this is incoming current I1, this is I2, then here is I3, I4, and I5. So if I'm taking that incoming is positive and leaving node is negative, so I can write like this: incoming is I1 and I4 and I3. So can I write like this: I1 plus I3 plus I4 minus I2 minus I5. So that I can write on this side of equal to like this: I2 plus I5. Okay. So it is known as sum of incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current. But I want to tell you about this laws of conservation of charge. Okay. So normally the current can be given like this: rate of change of charge or not. I is equal to dq by dt. Can we write like this? Yes, obviously. That means I can write for I1 like d q1 upon dt plus I3 is dq3 upon dt plus dq4 upon dt. Similarly, on this side of equal to we have dq2 upon dt plus dq5 upon dt. All the currents are represented in terms of the charges. Okay, so with this equation I can write, you can see d by dt on both the sides, so I can write like this finally in terms of charge q1 plus q3 plus q4 is equal to q2 plus q5. So now you can see you have written the current equation and now you have the equation in terms of charge. Okay, and that's why normally we can see the Kirchhoff's current law is based on law of conservation of the charge. Okay, so which requires that algebraic sum of charges within the system cannot change. Now you can see the both are same only, right? So one more equation, it's example of Kirchhoff's current law. Consider a node in the figure and applying the KCL. So here incoming is I1, I3 and I4, and outgoing is I2 and I5. So as I told you already that I1 plus I3 plus I4 is equal to I2 plus I5. Now if someone wants to take incoming sign as negative, then you can write the same equation in this manner also, that all outgoing is positive and incoming are negative. So minus of I1 plus I2 minus I3 minus I4 plus I5 equal to 0. If someone wants to write equation in this way, then you can also write it. Okay, but whatever you are taking, do not just change in the numeric in different numericals. Keep the same way from starting to end. Okay, whenever you require, if your habit is to take incoming as positive and outgoing is negative, then just do it by using that way only, right? So that you will not be confused in future. So yes, in this way we can see the sum of currents entering a node is equal to the sum of currents leaving the node, and this is nothing but Kirchhoff's current law. Now if I tell you the features of KCL, okay, features of KCL. The first one is that it can be applicable for any lump circuit, applicable to any lump circuit. Okay. Second is independent of nature of element, whether it is linear or non-linear, whatever, independent of nature of element. And third one is it follows the law of conservation of the charge. So these three are the features of the KCL, that application of any lumped circuit, it is applicable independent of the nature of source and element, and then follows the law of conservation of charge. Okay. Next is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff's voltage law. Kirchhoff's second law is based on principle of conservation of the energy. Principle of conservation of energy. I will tell you how it is based on conservation of energy. So this KVL states that the algebraic sum of all voltages, algebraic sum of all voltages around closed path is 0. Algebraic sum of all voltages around the closed path is 0. So here we are talking about the voltages. In the previous that is first law, we have talked about the current, right? So it is given by summation of m equal to 1 to capital M, Vm is equal to 0, where m is number of voltages in the loop or the number of branches in the loop, and Vm is the mth voltage. Okay. So again, let me tell you about KVL. In short, we can say in the lumped circuit, algebraic sum of branch voltage around the loop is equal to 0. For example, if I will give you one circuit, now here one resistance is connected, here one inductor is connected, and one capacitor is connected. So it is RLC series circuit is there, and I'm going to apply one voltage source over here. Now let us take, this is R, L, just a minute, and C. Okay. And if I'm taking the direction of current like this, So current passing through this is, if I take I, then one voltage drop is going to be created across this resistive element, that is VR. The second voltage drop will be created across this inductive element, that is, we can say VL. And one more voltage drop is there across capacitive element, that is, we can say VC. So what do you say about this? That the supply voltage V is equal to summation of all these voltage drops, that is VR plus VL plus VC. Okay, now I want to tell you that how we can say that it is based on principle of conservation of energy. So anyone can tell me, as in the previous topic I have written, I is equal to dq by dt, rate of change of charge. Just like, how can I write for V? Anyone can tell me? dV by dt? No. No. We can write it is in terms of work done. E is equal to VI, R equal to dq by dt. No, no, no. Okay, let me tell you. V is equal to, sorry, dW by dq. Okay, voltage V can be written like this, dW by dq. So how much work done with the change in this charges, that is what the voltage we can say. So according to this, I can write over here dW by dq is equal to dWr by dq plus dWl upon dq plus dWc upon dq. Finally, you can write W is equal to WR plus WL plus WC. And suppose we have, instead of inductor and capacitor, if both resistor, means all the elements are resistance like this, then we have WR1 plus WR2 plus WR3. Okay, so that is what we can say. This W is energy transferred, means I'm going to apply the energy from this for specific amount of time, and this WR plus WL plus WC is energy absorbed by the element. Okay, so in this way we can say the Kirchhoff's law is based on principle of conservation of the energy, right? This is energy transferred and this is energy absorbed. Both are same. Now if I talk about the features of the KVL, then it is same as KCL, only one is different, that it follows the energy conservation principle, whether KCL follows the conservation of charge principle, right? Otherwise this is also applicable in lumped circuit, also it is independent from nature of element as well. So here one circuit is there. You can see we have two voltage sources are there, that is V1 and V4 connected with opposite polarity. Also two resistances are connected and one load impedance is also there, and this is my uh, current sign. Okay, now it is up to you that if you are taking if living node is positive and if you are taking this sign as positive, then you have to take negative for this if your current end is living with negative sign, right? So it is up to you whether you are taking this V as positive and this V2 as negative, or you are taking this one is negative and this one is positive. It is totally up to you. There is no restriction, but you have to mention it if you want to change. Otherwise, normally we are taking, if living end is positive, then you consider it as a positive, and if living end is negative, then you can consider it as a negative. So I can write one equation in this way. V1, I'm taking living end is positive, minus V2 minus V3 plus V4 minus V5 equal to 0. So this is one way of writing the equation. Another way, you can just change the sign of all, like minus V1 plus V2 plus V3 minus V4 plus V5 equal to 0. At the end, you will get the same answer, that V2 plus V3 plus V5 is equal to V1 plus V4. V1 and V4, you can see both are voltage sources. V1 and V4 both are voltage sources. That means these are the voltage rises, sum of voltage rise, right? And here you can find the drop across the element, so that is sum of voltage drops, and both are same. Okay, so this is Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now circuit analysis by Kirchhoff's law. So all of you know about the Kirchhoff's law right now. So resistance of R1 is given 10 ohm, R2 4 ohm, R3 8 ohm, are connected up to two batteries, E1 20 volt and E2 12 volt. of negligible resistance as shown. Find out the current through each resistor. So you have to find this current, as well as the current passing through this 8 ohm resistor. Circuit is in front of you, right? So you can try it and tell me your answer. You just have to apply the KVL and KCL. So let me give you some time. You can try it by yourself and tell me your answer. Okay. I'll wait for your response. So you can tell me the answer. Okay, I'm getting two answers, I1 16 by 9, and from Harshraj it is 1.89, 0.26 and 1.63. Okay, so let us see. First of all, we'll check the answer. Yes, so Harshraj, your answer is absolutely correct. Very good. Okay, so here you can see in the circuit. Now you can apply KVL. Two loops are there. This is my first one. This is second one. You can consider here current I1, small I1. Okay, let us take it small I1. So I can write, see, either you will get, this is I1, 1 I2 and I1 minus I2. Okay, so by applying the KVL in this loop, 20 plus 20, living sign is positive, so I'm taking this, I'm considering this one, minus 10 I1, 10 I1, and this is 4, current passing is, so I can write minus 4 I2, minus 4 I2. Okay, and if you want to distribute your current like this, if this is I1, right, and current which is passing through this is I2, then you can write I1 minus I2 from this 4 ohm for the first loop, and during this second loop you can write I2 minus I1 into 4 through this resistance. It is totally in your hand, whatever you can do it. So I will get this equation according to this current distribution. In second mesh, 12-volt battery is there. So this I1 minus I2 is passing through this 8 ohm. So I can write 12 minus R3 into I1 minus I2 minus I2 into R2. Okay. Again, you will get the sign according to you. So you will get the second equation, which is 8 into I1 minus 12 I2 is equal to 12. Now you have to solve equation number 1 and 2. This is my equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. If you solve it, okay, then multiplying equation number 1 by 3, because here it is 12 I2 and 8 I1, right? So I just want this I2, if I2 will be 12, then it will be uh, cancel out. So we have only I1 in that and I will get the value of I1. right? So in this way I'm getting the value of I1 over here. Then you can find I2 by using the same equation. Put I1 in any of this equation, so you will get I2, and then I1 minus I2 will be current 1.632, which is passing through R2. Okay, so in this way you can apply the KVL and KCL, and you will get the current in all the resistances. Application of Kirchhoff's law we will come later on this slide. Now here you can see we have one connection diagram for Kirchhoff's current law. Connection diagram for Kirchhoff's current law. Two resistances are there, R1 and R2, and as in KCL we have to measure the incoming current and outgoing current, right? So here if you want to verify, as per this diagram, if you want to verify KCL, then the total current will be equal to I1 plus I2, and if you are getting this, then we can say your KCL is satisfied, right? So for that we require one voltage source, one ampere meter which will reading the total current, then two different branches. We have two resistances are there, so two branches are there. So I want to measure the current from each branches. This will be my I1, this is I2, and over here I'm getting the I again. Okay, so here you can see the observation table. You can apply the different voltages, and we have the reading of ampere meter I1 and I2, and here you have to do the summation, whether compare this I1 plus I2 and I, if both are same or not. Okay, so what you have to do, all of you open the FAT simulation software, and you have to do the circuit diagram connection like this. Open FAT simulation, electricity. Everyone have to open it. I will ask to anyone in between to share your screen. You can also do it in your mobile. If you have laptop, you can do in the laptop as well. Click on this link, circuit construction kit. Once you are in this page, you can open this one. And then click on the lab. Let me know once everyone on this page in the chat box. Okay, we'll show you again that how you have to open it. Open the Google, write PHET simulation electricity. You have to write like this. Open it. You will see this type of page. Click on the first link. Okay, click on this. And when you are on this page, you have two options, intro and lab. You have to click on the lab. So immediately you will be on this page. Okay, Janil, open or not? Okay, good. Now you have to construct the circuit as per our diagram. So here you can see the circuit. We require two resistance, ampere meter and voltage source. Okay, so you can take, last time also we have done Ohm's law in this, so all of you now familiar with this software, right? So you can take the resistance, two resistance, one voltage source means battery, ampere meter, we require 3 ampere meter, take all the components and connect it as per this diagram. Everyone has to do it. In this way you have to connect your circuit. So let me tell you, once you will complete this, just write one message into the chat box. So this is the main, this ampere meter will give you the current I. This is I1 and I2. Okay. So first of all, we have to select the value of resistance, right? So let me write uh, R1 and R2. R1 I'm taking 15 ohm and R2 I'm taking 25 ohm. Okay. R1 is 15 and R2 is 25. So you can set the value of R1 15 and R2 25. Now you can give the different values into this. For the voltages, and we are going to measure the current, right? So I'm going to set the value of voltages. We'll start from 10, 15, 20, 25, 20. Sorry, 30. So first of all, let us apply the 10 volt. So you can see the current which is passing through 15 ohm resistance is 0.67, and as in the second branch the value of resistance is more, and so that you will get the lower value of the current. So 0.67 I1 and 0.40 is I2. 0.67 and 0.40, and total current capital I is 1.07. 1.07. And if you do I1 plus I2, you will get 1.07 only. For the second case, I have to apply 15 volt. So for second reading, I am just increasing the value from 10 to 15. Yes, it is 1 ampere and 0.6, and here you can see it is 1.6. So let me write 1.60, 1 ampere and 0.6. So here I'm getting 1.60. We'll increase from 15 to 20. It is 2.13, 1.33 and 0.80. Sorry, 2.13, 1.33 and 0.80. For 25, it is 2.67, 1.67 and 1. For 30 volt, 3.20, 2 and 1.20. Further, if you want to increase, you can take 2 or 3 more readings. The set is at 35. You will get 2.33, 1.40 and 3.73, right? Now, if you see the summation of current, that is I1 plus I2, and incoming total current I, both are same in every case. So we can say incoming is equal to total outgoing. That is what Kirchhoff's current law, and hence it is verified. Okay. Now, tell me one thing. If I keep this resistance to 0, means if the short circuit is occurred, if short circuit occurs in this second number branch, okay, if this is short circuit is created on this branch, then how much current is passing through branch number 1? If short circuit is created in branch number 2, this is my branch number 2 and this is branch number 1, how much current is passing through branch number 1? Anyone? Harshraj is saying 0.001. Okay. So let me just create the short circuit over here. That means I have to put 0 value of resistance. Yes. So almost 0 current is going, you can see. Almost 0 current is going. Okay. That means all the current is passing through this shorted path. and your supply voltage is burn out, because you can see the value of current in the ampere meter. It's very high under this condition, right? Again, if I just move it to slightly high resistance, short circuit is gone away, right? Similarly, if I put short circuit on this, the same possibility is in branch number 1. Maximum amount of current is there and your supply voltage is burn out, right? This is known as open circuit. So in open circuit, no current is passing through that branch in which open circuit is created. So all the current passing through this second path, because here there is no connection, right? So these are the conditions that you can see practically over here. Okay, now let me show you the video of KCL in which you can find the practical setup. Then we will move towards Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay.
KCL stands for Kirchhoff's current law. So in this experiment, we will verify the KCL by using this T-type network. So here you can find we are having 3 resistances, R1, R2 and R3. Okay, and current flowing through them we are calling as I1, I2 and I3 respectively. Okay, and from this side we are applying 10 volt. Okay, so this is your supply voltage, and these are the resistance values. We have already measured those resistance values by using ohm meter. Okay, KCL states that algebraic sum of all incoming current is equal to algebraic sum of all outgoing currents at any node. Okay, so far as our circuit is concerned, we are having this node. Okay, so at this node we are applying KCL. So what are the incoming currents? I1 is incoming current and I2 and I3 are outgoing currents. So as per the statement of KCL, what we are getting, I1 means incoming current is equal to outgoing current I2 plus I3. Okay, so we have to measure I1, I2 and I3. So for this experiment, we are using this experimental setup. Okay, so you are already acquainted with this experimental setup. I have performed number of experiments by using this experimental board. The links are available in description. Okay, so here you can find that we are having this T-type network. Okay, R1, R2 and R3 we are using. In order to measure current flowing through these resistors, we are using I1, I2 and I3. So these are the connectors where we are externally connecting ammeters. And in this we are having 2 loops. So at a time we can apply 2 voltages. Okay, but as per our circuit diagram we need only 1 voltage source. Okay, and from the back side you can see that we have already soldered desired value of resistances. Okay, so this is about this experimental board. And now in order to provide power to this circuit, we are using this DC regulated power supply. Okay, so as per our circuit diagram, what voltage we are using over here, 10 volt we are using as a supply voltage. So here you can see that I have already set that voltage to 10 volt. Okay, let us start the connections. So first of all, turn off the power supply. First you have to set the desired voltage and then connect the power supply in the circuit. Here I have connected positive and negative. Okay, second supply we are not using. Okay, so what I will do, I will short these 2 terminals. So these 2 terminals are shorted. It means what? Second voltage is not applied. Okay, then we have to measure 3 currents, but we are having single ammeter. So one by one we will measure the currents. So first of all, suppose I am measuring I1. So at that time I2 and I3 are not needed. So I will connect short circuit over here. I have selected milliampere range over here. Red probe is connected in milliampere, black probe is connected in common, and here we have selected DC. So this ammeter can be used for measurement of I1. So what I will do, positive I will connect over here and negative is connected over here, positive and negative. So here what we will get I1. Now your experimental setup is ready. Just turn on the power supply and observe this reading. Okay, so as soon as I turn on the power supply, what value we are getting? 5.01 milliampere. So this is nothing but your I1. So we have noted I1, now we will note down I2. So what I will do, I will turn off the power supply. I will remove this open circuit, short circuit. I will connect the ammeter over here so that I will get I2. Now this is replaced by short circuit, okay. And again, turn on the power supply. What value of current you are getting? 2.39 milliampere. So this is nothing but your I2. So we have noted this I2 value. Now what I will do, I will again turn on the power supply, and now we want to measure I3. So I will connect the ammeter over here and I will replace this I2 with short circuit, okay. And again I will turn on the power supply. Okay, so as soon as I turn on the power supply, what reading I am getting? 2.62 milliampere. So this is nothing but your I3. So we will note down this value, 2.62 milliampere. So here you can see that we have noted all three currents values. Okay, now according to the KCL, incoming current, what is incoming current? I1, almost 5 milliampere. And what are outgoing currents? I2 and I3. So if we add these two currents, their addition should be equal to I1, because I1 is equal to I2 plus I3 according to KCL. So if this thing is verified, then we can say that our Kirchhoff's current law is verified. So your I2 is 2.39, I3 is 2.62. If we add them, what we are getting? 5.01. Okay. So what is your right hand side? So if you look at this, what is your right hand side? 5.01. And what is your left hand side? I1. Means again 5.01. So left side is equal to right side. So these two are same. Hence our Kirchhoff's current law is verified practically. Okay, means incoming current is equal to sum of outgoing current. We can verify, same law can be verified theoretically. Okay, so for that purpose we will do the calculations in the next part. Okay. So friends, demonstration part is already over. Now we will calculate the value of I1, I2 and I3. Okay, theoretically. So for that purpose we have to apply KCL at this node. Okay, so what you can see over here, incoming current is I1, outgoing currents are I2 and I3. So as per our statement, incoming current should be equal to outgoing current. Okay, so if you apply this theorem, we are getting this equation. So if this equation is satisfied, we can say that our KCL is verified. Okay. So friends, what you can observe over here, current I1 is coming, okay, and it is getting divided into two parts in between R2 and R3. So we have to apply current divider rule over here. So by current divider rule, we can calculate I2 as well as I3. So suppose we want to calculate I3. Now I3 is flowing through R3. So what is the opposite resistance? R2. So I3 will be equal to what? R2 upon R2 plus R3. Okay, multiplied by total current. Now what is the total current, incoming current? I1. Okay, so now we do not know the value of I1. So first of all we will calculate I1. So what is the I1 you are getting? I1 is total current. So it is equal to what? Total voltage upon total resistance. What is the total voltage you are applying over here? 10 volt. Okay, and what is the total resistance over here? So if you look at this, your R1 resistance is in series with parallel combination of R2 and R3. So this is the total resistance we are getting, R1 plus R2 parallel to R3. Okay, now put this value and calculate this total current. Okay, so this equation we are getting, now calculate the value of IT. So here you will get 4.97 milliampere. Okay, now put this value in above equation, you will get the value of I3. So when we put R2 and R3 and total current, we are getting this equation. Okay, so now calculate the value of I3. So you will get 2.60 milliampere. Okay, so this is the value of I3 you are getting after calculations. Okay, so note down this value. So 2.60 milliampere we are getting. Okay, now we know what is your total current. So your total current is nothing but what? I1. Okay, because here what we have written, the current which is coming from the supply is nothing but what? Your total current. So IT and I1 are same. So I1 we have already calculated. So I1 is nothing but what? IT. So what we are getting over 4.97 milliampere you are getting. Okay. Now what is remaining? I2. So okay. So what is the equation you are having? We are having this equation from KCL. Okay. So I1 is your incoming current. It should be equal to outgoing current, means I2 plus I3. Okay. So I1 and I3 are known to us. So this equation will give you what? I2. So what is I2? So put the values of both currents. So I1 is what? 4.97 milliampere minus what is I3 you are getting? 2.60 milliampere. So calculate this. So friends, if you calculate this, you will get I2 is equal to 2.37 milliampere. So note down this value over here, 2.37 milliampere.
Okay, so here you can see in this that first of all your uh, measurable readings are there. This is I1 is equal to 5.01, then I2 is 2.39 and 2.62 is I3, right? And then you have calculated the same. So you can see the approximately both are same value, that is near about calculated and measurement, as well as it will satisfy the KCL as per this circuit, that is I1 is equal to I2 plus I3. Okay, so in this way you can do it by practical kit also. Now let us move on to the KVL, Kirchhoff's voltage law. So here we have one connection diagram for Kirchhoff's voltage law, and corresponding one observation table is also given. Okay, so I hope that now you can able to do it, right? Because three resistances, you require 3 voltmeters. Okay, and you have to measure the voltage drop across each and every resistance, and whether you want to check is it equal to the supply voltage or not. Okay, so according to this observation table, if you will get the last column and the supply voltage column are same, then we can say the Kirchhoff's voltage law is verified. So you can use the same platform. You can just remove your circuit diagram from the previous one. Okay, I'll remove it, and again you have to connect according to our new diagram. You can take 3 resistance, one supply and voltmeter. Okay, so here we can take maximum 2 voltmeter. So for third reading, I'm directly just take the probe like this, so that you can measure the voltage across this resistance, right? First of all of you do the calculation up to this, sorry, connection up to this, and tell me in the chat box once you will complete it. Pranav have completed the circuit connections. What about other? Nandan also completed. Vishwajit, Harsh, Karan, Prithviraj, very good. Still, I'm not getting the response of some student, because already we have 24 students are there. Okay, now let us first of all decide the value of voltage, sorry, resistance. So I'm going to take R110, R230, R320. R1 is 10, R230, and R320. And then we will apply the voltage level. First of all, I am putting the value of R1 as 10, this is 30, and here is 20. 10, 20, 30, 40. These are my voltage levels. So let us first apply the 10 volt. We will just change the probe like this so that you will get the positive reading. So V1 is 1.67, V2 is 5, and V3 3.33. And if you do the summation of V1 plus V2 plus V3, you will get 10. Okay. Take second reading, that is 20. V1 is 3.33, V3 is 6.67, and if you measure V2, then it is 10. V1 plus V2 plus V3 will be 20. Now you put 30 and 40. So here you are getting 5, then 15, and then 10. So it is 30. Okay, now tell me the last reading. 6.67, 20, and 13.33. Fine. And if we do the summation of all these voltages, we will get 40. So now you can see, if you apply KVL, and according to the KVL, we must know that V, supply voltage V, is equal to the summation of all voltage drops, and the same thing we are getting, summation of all voltage drops is equal to the supply voltage. Okay, and hence from this we can say that Kirchhoff's voltage law is also verified, right? Now let me show you the practical video for KVL.
Today we will perform experiment to verify KVL. KVL stands for Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay. Now according to the statement of this law, voltage drop in any closed loop should be equal to 0. Okay. So in order to verify this theorem, I am using this circuit. So this circuit basically consists of single voltage and two resistances. Okay. So this is forming a closed loop. Okay. So now there are basically three voltages present over here. When I turn on this power supply, some current starts to flow through this loop. Okay, so due to that current, some voltage will drop across R1, so that we are calling as VR1, and similarly, voltage across R2, we are calling VR2. Okay, so what we have to do? We have to do algebraic addition of all these three voltages. Okay, and that should come equal to 0. Okay, so first of all, what we will do, we will connect the circuit as per this circuit diagram. Okay, voltage we are applying as 10 volts, so this is already known to us. So only we have to measure voltage across R1, voltage across R2, and what is the total current flowing through the circuit. Okay, so for this experiment, I am using this experimental setup. Okay, so now this setup consists of two loops. Okay, but I am not using this second loop because as per our circuit diagram, we are considering only single loop. So we are considering only R1 and R2. So this part we will not consider. Okay, and at this point we will apply 10 volt. Okay, and in order to measure the loop current, we will use this ammeter, right? Okay, and this ammeter we are not using because in the loop, whatever current flows through R1, same current flows to R2. So we do not need to measure I2. And in order to provide the power to the circuit, we are using this DC regulated power supply. Okay. If you turn on this, you will find out that the voltage is almost 10 volts. So I have already set this voltage. You can set the voltage as per your need. Okay. And while doing the connection, you have to turn off the power supply. Okay. Now let us start the experiment. So as per this circuit diagram, what I will do, I will connect 10 volt. Okay. So positive of 10 volt. Then this is negative of 10 volt. Okay. And then we have to measure the loop current, right? Okay, so either I can connect an ammeter over here or over here. Okay, so I am using this multimeter as an ammeter. Okay, so I have set this to milliampere. Okay, and this red probe is connected in milliampere, black probe is connected in common. Okay, and we have to select DC because we are applying DC voltage. Okay, and then what I will do, I will connect the positive of ammeter over here, negative of ammeter over here, so that what this ammeter will show the loop current flowing through this. Okay, so total current I can measure with the help of this ammeter. Okay, and since we are not using this ammeter, so we have to short this two terminals. Okay, so we are shorting these two terminals, right? And now what we have to do, we have to turn on the power supply. Okay, now this voltage is already known to us. It is how much? 10 volt. Okay, now we will measure voltage across R1. So R1 is connected in between positive of voltage and positive of this ammeter. Okay, so we will connect voltmeter over here. We will get VR1. Similarly, we have to measure what? We have to measure VR2. So for that purpose, VR2 is connected in between this terminal and this terminal. So friends, first of all, I will turn on the power supply. Now as soon as I turn on the power supply, I am getting some value of current flowing through this loop. This is 3 point almost 18 milliampere. Okay, so that is nothing but your total current. So we will note down this value. Okay, so friends, here you can see that we have noted this total current value. Okay, now we will measure the voltage across R1 and R2. So for that purpose, we have to use another meter. So friends, we have measured the total current by using this ammeter. Now I will use another meter in order to measure the voltage between R1 and R2. Okay, so what I will do, I will connect one terminal of voltmeter at this point, because one end of R1 is connected here and another end is connected to the positive of this ammeter. So I will connect another end over here. So what I am getting on the multimeter, I am getting 3.1 volt. Okay, so that value we will note down. So I have already noted down that value. VR1 you are getting 3.1 volt. Okay, similarly we will measure VR2. So what is your VR2? VR2 is the voltage between this point and this point. Okay, so you can see that resistance, one end of resistance is connected over here. Okay, and another end is connected over here. So I will connect the multimeter in between these 2 points. So what I am getting, 6.9 volt. So we will note down this value. So friends, we have noted down the values of both voltages. VR1 you are getting 3.1 volt and VR2 6.9 volt. Okay, if you go along the current path, you are getting negative positive, then positive negative, positive negative, means these two voltages VR1 and VR2 are having opposite polarity as compared to this supply voltage. Okay, so if we do the algebraic addition, what we will get, 10 minus 3.1 volt minus 6.9 volt. Okay, so 10 minus 3.1 minus 6.9. If we do the calculation, what we will get, 0. So this indicates that algebraic sum of all the voltages in a closed path is always equal to 0. So this verifies our Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay, and this is about demonstration part. Again, we can verify this using calculation part. Okay. So friends, your demonstration part is already over and we have done some observations. Okay, now theoretically we have to calculate some values and we have to verify the KVL. So friends, first we will try to calculate the value of total current. Okay, now what is your total current? Now according to Ohm's law, total current is total voltage divided by total resistance in the network. Okay, so what is the voltage we are applying here? Only 10 volt single voltage source we are connecting. Now what is total resistance? R1 and R2 are connected in series. So R1 plus R2 you are getting. Okay, so put the values. So you are getting 3.18 milliampere. Okay, so write down this value over here, 3.18 milliampere. Okay, now we know that our supply voltage is 10 volt. Okay, so now we need to calculate. Just we have to calculate the value of VR1 and VR2. Now if you look at the network, what happens? Supply voltage will get divided in between R1 and R2 because they are connected in series. So we can apply voltage divider rule over here to find out the value of VR1 and VR2. So by voltage divider rule, now you are calculating VR1. So VR1 is the voltage across R1. Okay, so we will take R1 in the numerator divided by total resistance. So R1 plus R2, and this is multiplied with total voltage. So this is the equation for VR1. Similarly, what is the equation for VR2? It is measured across R2. So we have to write R2 in numerator divided by total resistance R1 plus R2. Okay, and this is multiplied with total voltage, that is nothing but your supply voltage. Now in both these equations, put the values of R1, R2 and supply voltage. We will get the values of VR1 and VR2. So we will get the equations in this way. Now calculate the values. So friends, after calculation, here you are getting 3.09 volt and here you are getting 6.90 volts. Okay, so we have got the values of VR1 and VR2. Now turn these values in observation table. So here VR1 is 3.09 volt and VR2 is 6.90 volts. Okay, so this is the
Okay, so again over here you can see this is our measurable values, right? Vs is 1, then here it is uh, sorry, this is 10, then VR1 is 3.1 and VR2 is 6.9, and the calculated value is, as Vs is 10, VR is 3.09 and this VR2 is 6.9. So again almost same values we are getting calculated as well as measurement, right? So I think all of you have the idea about how we will do this experiment by using the testing kit or experiment kit as well as in simulation, right? Now okay, now here the question and answers are there, so you have to give which type of circuit was used in verification of KCL. So give me the answer of first one. Okay, getting one correct response from Viswajit Singh, Harshraj, Pranav, Shubham. Very good, everyone is giving the correct response. Parallel circuit, right? Yes, so parallel circuit is the correct answer. So definitely now second one is series. Which type of circuit was used in verification of KVL, that is series circuit. And if you see the last one, that is Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on law of conservation of energy. Is it correct? Kirchhoff's voltage law is based on the law of conservation of energy. Yes, and here it is written that justify this statement. So for justification, already I told you, right, that dW by dQ. You can just write this equation for everyone, and at the end you will get W1 is equal to W2 plus W3, whatever, right? So in this way you can just justify this statement by using conservation of, by the KVL is the conservation of energy. Okay. Okay, so today we have completed the experiment number 3, which is based on Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. First of all, we have seen the theory, right? And for both, then we have done the simulation of KVL and KCL one by one. Also, we have seen 2 videos in which you can come to know that by using experimental kit how we can do it, right? Now, if you have any doubt regarding today's session, then you can ask your query. You can find the Google Form link into the chat box. Submit your response. Those who have completed, they can leave the meeting. Still, I got 19 response. 5 students are still remaining. So those who have completed, they can leave the meeting.
Sir, it's not working.
Who is there?
Yagnik, sir.
Yagnik, already I got the response. Link is working. You have to sign in because every time you all have same issues like this.
Yes, sir. I can sign in, but error 409.
ये जो गूगल क्रोम या कोई भी हो उसमें एक बार साइन इन करके छोड़ देना। इस बार तो मैं अभी आपका नंबर चैट बॉक्स में लिख दो, फिर हर बार ऐसा नहीं चलेगा।
Okay.
Okay, everyone, thank you for attending this session. I'm going to end the meeting now.